Well, Florida is an incomprehensible wasteland, almost like something out of a fantasy novel, like Narnia, if Narnia was infested with drugs and human trafficking. But for me, I call Florida home. I've lived in this utopia for all 28 years of my life, and I've got to tell you, I swear with my hand on a stack of Bibles, there's nowhere else I'd rather live. Being completely truthful. Born and raised from the womb to the tomb in Florida. Well, I guess not womb to tomb because I'm pretty sure Florida is going to be underwater within the next 20 years, but hey, we're on a tight schedule, I guess. We're on the clock now, and that only makes the time we have with Florida even more special. What's that expression? The star that burns brightest burns out fastest? That is very applicable to Florida. It is a shining star of a state. That little hemorrhoid on the USA? That's right. That's Florida, baby. So anyway, I was feeling awfully patriotic today, and I wanted to celebrate some Florida enthusiasm by talking about a few stories that I've just been thinking about a lot over the last couple days since I learned about them because they're so wacky. Florida has a reputation for producing the most outrageous headlines ever, which is why Florida Man has been like a coined phrase for quite a few years now. Florida Man is just always referring to the crazy stories that could only really happen in Florida. And there's just some that I've really been thinking about that have happened recently. The first story is almost wholesome in its stupidity. So a man stole an electric scooter from Target and then assembled it outside the Target he had stole it at. So he was out there assembling this electric scooter for quite a long time, which gave the police ample opportunity to show up and arrest him.
What's going on, man?
Stop.
Do me a favor, stand up.
Huh?
Stand up. I'm gonna detain you for a second. Come here. Put it down.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Neutron's already been hard at work assembling this device. You can see the electric scooter box right next to him, so he's taking it out, he's following the instructions and putting it together. And usually these aren't exactly quick projects, so the authorities would have had plenty of time to not only receive the call from Target, but to then go ahead and stop for lunch if they wanted to, and then still show up in time to arrest this guy. He was out there for quite a while building the scooter, so the police showed up and probably were beyond surprised to see that he was still there. This was probably like a jump scare for them as well, that this guy who had stolen a scooter like 30 minutes ago was just outside putting it together.
You know why I'm detaining you?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Once I get these on you, I'll explain it to you. We'll get it all figured out, alright?
All right.
A confounding mystery, no doubt. Why would this good Samaritan just casually putting together the electric scooter he just stole possibly be getting arrested or detained here? Something that science can't quite explain, I suppose.
It was an ICAP, baby.
I just really like this whole idea here. He steals the scooter and he's like, alright, great. Oh man, I can't ride this. It's in the box. Well, guess I'm gonna have to put this shit together like it's some fucking Legos. And he just does it outside the Target he stole it at. He could have taken that anywhere else. Literally anywhere else. He could have taken it to like a nearby park or even just on the sidewalk somewhere and started putting it together, but instead he puts it together at the danger zone, the hot spot where he had just committed a crime.
You buy the scooter? You don't want to answer that question?
Caught him with his hand in the cookie jar with that question. He asks if he bought the scooter, to which he receives no reply. So then the reality starts to
Smart.
sink in for this guy. I'll go ahead and break down the story here, though
Smart.
it's not super interesting, very generic. Target
For a Florida
employees saw
man,
him
unique.
grab the
He
Razor
doesn't
electric
reply.
scooter, so then they just called the police on him, who then showed up and arrested him because he was outside fucking building the thing. What I really love so much about this one is the fact that this is actual, like, Skyrim NPC behavior. So this guy committed a crime. He takes the scooter, he steals it, and then the second he leaves the store, he must have forgot how he acquired that scooter and thought it was totally okay to just go ahead and start putting it together there. That item he just stole. The next story I want to share with you all is actually a really interesting crime plot. This one's got a lot of layers to it. This one's like almost a huge scheme. It's a $1 million plus milk theft. This is actually like a whole crime group, like the fucking milk mafia. They got together and hatched the perfect crime, like Ocean's 11. They decided they were going to steal a fucking ton of milk, a lot of dairy products. It actually goes pretty deep. So the 6 suspects were employees of Island Dairy, a milk distributor that worked with MacArthur Dairy, a milk and dairy products company, and they were arrested as a result of an investigation dubbed Operation Got Milk. This is already a lot to take in. So you've got a lot of players at play on the chessboard here, a lot of pieces in position. When I first saw the headline, I expected it to be like 1 or 2 Florida men that thought they could steal a lot of milk and sell it. So they stole $1 million worth of milk, and I was like, holy shit, they just made $1 million. It took me a minute to register in my fucking smooth little brain here that who in the world, who on God's green earth is going to be buying $1 million worth of milk? That's not exactly a product that you could turn around and immediately get your money out of. You'd be squatting on a massive, massive fucking inventory of dairy for years before you even remotely started to be able to sell some of it. I don't think there's like a booming black market for milk, so it's not like you're just going to immediately be able to turn it around and sell it on the fucking Grand Exchange like it's RuneScape or something. And I've got to be honest, I'll admit my ignorance here. I don't know if...
The irony is that they dump a ton of dairy for this very specific reason when they can't sell it. Like they literally, like farms will dump a shit ton of dairy because the logistics of it and like delivery, if there is no sales for it, is not worth. It's like one of the dumbest things you could fucking steal.
Big dairy buys from random people, right? So if you have $1 million worth of milk that you have stolen from these trucks, how are you going to try and sell it to a different distributor or a different company? I just don't think they'd be buying your, trunk of milk, right? You pull up behind an alley and you're like, all right, I've got the fucking product here. And they give you money for the milk. I don't think a huge market to be able to immediately turn these products into money.
Yes, it's also so they can keep the milk prices high. News stations
reported that suspects were delivery drivers and dispatchers for Island Dairy. Since 2021, the suspects systematically pilfered more than $925,000 worth of milk from MacArthur Dairy, along with around $350,000 worth of crates. So obviously we're dealing with a lot of milk here. This is more than a Morton Joe was able to harvest in Mad Max Fury Road. The men would allegedly manipulate the ordering system, causing extra dairy products to be loaded onto the distribution delivery trucks. Police said that the delivery drivers would deviate from their pre-assigned routes, meet with another individual, and transfer the extra dairy products to their delivery truck. So they even reveal the method here. They're just giving away the formula that they used. One suspect allegedly sold each stolen milk carton for $10. Let's pump the brakes for a moment. Who the fuck is buying that? Not only is the price not great, but it's also extremely sketchy just to be buying a carton of milk from a stranger. Who would do that? That shit could be poison. It could be just fucking liquid cyanide in there. Like, what? Why would you do that instead of just going to Walmart and getting a carton of milk for like much less than that usually? It just doesn't compute. Who would treat this guy like he's their drug dealer, like their plug? Like, passing out free milk cartons like, hey, come here. I've got some milk cartons in the trunk of my car. First one's free. But if you ever need your fix, you can meet me by the CVS dumpster. I got plenty more milk cartons where that came from. Like, I just can't even imagine that world. That's so wild. This was an organized crime, basically, where they are working in unison to steal products from a company, and obviously the person receiving those products was selling stolen goods. Officials told WTVJ that Island Dairy conducted an internal investigation that uncovered the irregularities and identified the potential suspects. Police were then contacted and began surveillance on the suspects. Hours later, investigators said they captured the transfer of stolen dairy products on video. So they got him. They got him. This is actually a pretty sizable theft here. $1 million plus worth of milk is fucking crazy. So yeah, I definitely wanted to share that
there was
one
a
because,
fucking
wow,
market for it,
what
Charlie.
a plan
You just don't get
to
it.
Steal and sell milk, of all things. Anyway, these were just 2 stories I had read recently and watched, I suppose, since there's videos of both, that have really just stuck with me. I keep thinking about them because they're so...
He don't get it, dude. The milk mafia is going to come after him. Charlie video about manga being banned. What is this?
This is what it looks like when a man is operating
What the fuck? His
using...
hair looks so disheveled from this video to this. Like it almost feels like he got so upset, so profoundly upset that this manga was banned. Like he's just like caught him by surprise. He like stayed up all night.
100% of his brain power at all times. It's like I'm perpetually taking that pill from Limitless.
It's like the fucking milk guys beat the shit out of him after he reported on their crimes. So then, this is the aftermath. And then weirdly enough, after beating the shit out of him, they were like, yeah, make sure you speak out against this manga being banned. It's our favorite manga.
I just came back from pickup basketball, and hooey, what a performance I put on out there. That's one for the textbooks. It's really a shame that I was cursed to be 5'6", because if you take my raw athletic abilities and my pure prowess at basketball, and you just scale me up, like if you slide the slider on my character creator sheet just a few inches to the right, I'm a real threat in the NBA. But regardless,
This is real HasanAbi
that's why I
coded.
look all disheveled and shit, because I was out there going
And yes,
hard.
yes, I will be playing ball with Charlie. Yeah, I'm literally talking to him right at this very moment. I'm DMing him literally right now.
I was grinding, and if you want to know what a real man smells like, take the side of your hand and rub it in between your ass cheeks like you're swiping a credit card and take a sniff, because that's what it smells like right now for me. But I'm not here to talk about basketball, though I am here to talk about something just as stinky, if not stinkier, than myself right now. The banning of books. We're going backwards. The human race is devolving. It's pretty clear we've learned nothing from history, since it continues to repeat itself, and right now, there's been a lot of books that have been banned, but one that I want to focus on today is
Especially
a
in
really,
Florida.
really wacky target for this. Assassination Classroom. It's a manga, and you've probably
What?
seen the anime, because a few years back, it was a very popular anime. And yesterday it was announced that it's been banned in at least one middle school, removed from their library, and faces potential bans in other schools throughout the district. To quote Jennifer here, the local chair of Moms for Liberty, she states, "We don't want students to think it's okay to kill their teachers." Hey pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town? This is their real reason. They think that this manga is somehow going to encourage students to kill their teachers or become school
That's
shooters
awesome.
or some shit.
That's awesome.
If you don't know what the plot of Assassination...
Yeah, I wonder, school shootings is a huge problem where the manga came from in the country and the nation of origin for where that manga exists, famously so. I mean, oh wait, that's right. No, it happens 0 times in fucking Japan. I wonder if there is like a serious difference between what could it be? Both countries have the manga, weirdly enough. Both countries have the anime, weirdly enough. It's distributed in America, it's distributed in Japan. And yet for some reason, one country has 0 school shootings where the manga is actually distributed way more. Okay? And in the other country, there's like a fucking school shooting happening every week, it feels like. Yeah, both of those countries have schools. I wonder what it is.
Classroom is, I'll break it down real quick. Basically, there's an alien, he's already fucked up the moon, and he's threatening to destroy the Earth, but he won't do it on one condition: he be allowed to teach a class. He wants to be a teacher. And all of the students in that classroom are assassins that are determined to kill the alien before the end of the school year, before he has a chance to, wreak havoc on the Earth. And it turns out the alien's an amazing teacher, and the students all take their attempts to kill him. That's fundamentally the story in a nutshell, just like really simplified. I can also 100% guarantee you, I fucking promise that the people that have banned this book and are lobbying to continue to ban this book have never read it. They probably never even opened it. They read a single paragraph plot synopsis, most likely on a fucking Reddit comment somewhere. They probably have no fucking clue what the story is even about or what goes on in it. They just immediately went into this frenzied panic and decided to just slap the ban hammer on it. And the worst part is, I'm not even surprised. Like, a caveman brain activating here and using absolutely no rational thought process to just ban this book doesn't shock me in even the slightest. And I understand school shootings have become more common than free food samples at a mall food court, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you didn't just stop school shootings by banning Assassination Classroom. I don't think there's a single human being on this planet that opened that manga and was like, I might need to kill my teacher. What if they're a fucking alien? Oh my god! Like that's never happened in human history, and it never would. If you genuinely think your children are at risk to becoming school shooters after reading a fucking manga, there is a lot more problems at play there. You're gonna need to really step up your parental duties and really get involved in their life to ensure that they're staying on the straight and narrow. If you are actually concerned.
I think this is a pretty solid angle for normies to recognize right-wing censorship of books, by the way, because, like, it comes after something that they otherwise would consider, like, well, not normies, but, like, because no normie fucking gives a shit about manga, let's be real, but, like, online centrists who are otherwise very right-wing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you ask a normal person, should Japanese picture books be shown in school? They'd be like, fuck no, brother. But, I'm all for it. Because, like, let's be real. It's not like Charlie's going to cut a fucking video about trans books being banned. You know what I mean? Or queer books being banned. That would not be that would not be well received.
That they are going to read this and just bring in a fucking Glock to school to blast the teacher. It's a crazy thought process. Growing up, I always heard the expression, history repeats itself, or we have to study history or else we're doomed to repeat it, and I just never subscribed to that belief. I thought it was all just a bunch of baloney, a whole load of hooey. But now, I see how true that is. They legitimately are going backwards into, like, the panic in the 60s and 70s or whatever, 50s, whatever, with rock and roll, where they're like, fuck, it's the demon music, this is gonna cause everyone to go fucking loopy and start causing violence. Or with video games are causing violence, they're responsible for so much violent crime. Like, it's mind-blowing. And now we're banning manga. A manga that is about a fucking alien. We are reaching, like, a comical status with the shitty decisions being made with decisions like this. Now, Florida and that other school district aren't the only two places that are looking to ban this manga. Apparently, other states like Virginia and North Carolina are also up in arms about Assassination Classroom, and various other counties have reported complaints against it. So honestly, at this point, this almost feels like a marketing campaign for Assassination Classroom. It hasn't had this much buzz in years. It's gonna pop off in popularity, I imagine, as a result of all of this. But yeah, it's tragically silly. This is so fucking stupid. Using this manga as some kind of, like, scapegoat for school shootings, like, oh, finally, we figured it out. This is what went wrong. We've had Assassination Classroom manga in our libraries. That's what's contaminating the kids' brains and turning them into school shooters. It's this manga. We've done it. Eureka. School shootings are solved. Ban this manga and we're good. It's so fucking goofy. This is gonna do nothing to help anything. And I really hope they continue down this line of logic. So, like, the next thing they start going after is, like, Romeo and Juliet, because it might encourage their kids to commit suicide. So they need to start banning every single thing of Romeo and Juliet. Like, there's just so many ways that you could explore this absolute insanity. You can extend this to everything. Like, oh, we have to ban every book because something bad happens into it that might make the kids want to do something bad. Fuck. No more books. Words are the devil. It's getting stupid. It's getting real stupid. And since we're on the topic of books, there's another thing I want to complain about real quick, a little bah humbug in here for something that's a little different but still related. I am getting sick and tired of books being rewritten to fit modern sensitivities. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but right now there's this movement going around to rewrite classic books in order to fit modern sensitivities. So, for example...
I mean, you gotta hit it. You gotta hit it from both avenues, you know what I mean? A little bit of like the right is trying to ban books and is stupid, and then a little bit of like woke culture is trying to fucking rewrite books. Now, for the record, I agree with them. I think this is fucking dumb bullshit. The idea that, like, you're supposed to rewrite some of these works is really stupid. However, having said that, a lot of that is overblown and right-wing backed outrage campaigns for the most part. Unlike the top of the hour ad break, however, which is actually not overblown and not a right-wing backed outrage campaign. It's very real. So I will add you some context on this. And if you want to see all of that uninterrupted, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free, because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here is the 3-minute ad break now. Not overblown, but overdue. What do you mean? No, man. A lot of this shit is so fucking stupid. It's always the estate that does it themselves. It's never like government mandated or anything. And it's literally just the estate being like, ooh, maybe we can drop some additional, like maybe we can farm some outrage and, get ourselves in the public consciousness again. That's usually what it is. It's rarely ever like done because it has never been done because it's legislation. Other than what Charlie was talking about earlier, which is actually a consequence of legislation, opening up a space for like psychotic parents to ban whatever fucking book necessary, that whatever book that they feel is bad. Also, you motherfuckers rate my ad breaks so bad lately. It's like kind of making me sad. I'm just going to let you know. Okay. God damn, I got a 6.5, dude. It's crazy.
Roald Dahl is an author I'm sure many of you are familiar with. If you don't know his name, you definitely know his work, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's been getting some revisions. They've taken out a lot of content from some of them, changed some words around, like really trivial stuff, but then sometimes outright removed not insignificant moments, like completely like changed it. All because they believe that it is no longer fitting for the current climate, our modern society. So they've taken it upon themselves to just rewrite it. What fucking heroes? Just rewriting books, huh? Amazing. Surely there's nothing wrong with that. Just completely changing the author's words around. Why fucking not, I guess, huh? I think it's ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not a big book reader anymore. I've made that very clear. I don't really read a whole lot of novels or anything like that. But that doesn't mean I never did. I used to read a shitload. Up until, like, late middle school. Well, yeah, like, late middle school-ish. I used to read a lot. And, of course, I hate the idea of just changing shit because it no longer fits in modern sensitivities. Like a SpongeBob. SpongeBob was appropriate. So they gave it the old 1-2 buckle my shoe to the shadow realm with you. They fucking axed it from the service, and you can no longer watch it on, like, Paramount. It's just...
This is a real valid concern. With respect to not having any physical copies of shit anymore, this is something that actually people talk about quite frequently. No, it's not a who cares thing. No, I care 100%. I think that when you don't have any physical copies of anything and all of the media that you consume, you're basically renting out, okay? They can literally do whatever the fuck they want. They can just stop releasing media that you like, that you want to consume, that you want to enjoy, that you actually fucking purchase, for example, and directly eviscerate it. Like they could just like take it off, take it out of any kind of circulation. I think that is really fucked up. I am pro-piracy, as you guys know. I think it's unacceptable that there isn't like so many physical copies of these kinds of things. I really, really, really despise this type of bullshit. I think it's so dumb. Like HBO just merged. Yeah. HBO just merged. There's no Westworld. Like, what are you supposed to do? Or not with Disney, sorry, Discovery. What would Chatter care if they started removing games from the Steam or PSN store? Again, yes. They lured us in with convenience and took away our ability to own any media. Exactly. I don't understand. I don't like it. I don't know why people don't get more mad about it, to be fair. I don't even get that part. Like, why the fuck are people not more upset about it? Amazon has routinely edited films that you can't literally watch anywhere else, like the tail fucking scene in Avatar. Yeah, they do shit like that too, where they will re-edit and recirculate movies so you can never find like the original intention that the author had or anything like that, which I don't really like. I don't like that either. Disney censored the Winter Soldier shortly after the original airing. Wait, really? Huh. That's interesting. It's little stuff like that here and there, but it does frustrate me when I think like there will be broader implications. The more comfortable media companies get with doing things like this, the more comfortable they will be with doing much larger changes and much larger forms of censorship. So, I don't know. It's mostly movie buffs that are the most vocal about it right now with their push for physical media. Yeah. I think like I mean, look, this shit will happen in fucking video games and then this community will start chirping more. Oh, I mean, yeah, Nintendo receives backlash from fans over ending eShop purchases. Nintendo is facing backlash from fans over its plan to end purchases on older generation Wii U and 3DS systems in March 2023. It means that consumers will no longer be able to buy hundreds of Nintendo games from the past. They'll have access to a smaller selection of titles through Nintendo Switch Online. And as a subscription service, players will lose access to their favorite games if they do not renew. Everything's a fucking DLC, dude. Back in the day, you could just like buy a game and then, you had the game. Now, you buy a game, you have the game, but, they might decide, hey, you need to pay us an additional hostage fee now. Steam will shut down one day. I don't even want to think about that, but you're right.
It's gone because they thought it was inappropriate now. I think the obvious solution, instead of just banning episodes if you think that it is offensive by today's standards, is to do what has been done in the past for like old cartoons if there was like racist shit in it. In the beginning, you just make it clear like, hey, this happened a long time ago. By those standards, it was okay, but by today's standards, it's really not. We don't support, the beliefs of it. However, we want to keep the art intact and deliver it to you as it was aired and as it was written. I agree with this. That is the way you handle it the correct way. Instead of just getting rid of it or rewriting it, I think that's just fucking stupid to just, pretend it doesn't exist or censor.
It's also historical revisionism too. It's like making it seem like, that didn't happen. You're literally like whitewashing it. It's more so that it's not even about like, oh, I want to see the racist stuff, which I do. You know this, I love that shit. I'm fascinated by human consciousness, especially like minds that turn to that sort of thinking. I love it. I think it's like fascinating. I'm like, how the fuck could you believe any psychotic nonsense like this? But other than that, I'm brain broken. I'm not expecting anyone else to feel the same way. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of people here that also feel that way. That's why we're in a community like this. But like beyond that, what are you doing? Why are you hiding the secrets about like what the author's original intentions were? Like, who gives a shit? Stop fucking whitewashing and rewriting the goddamn the goddamn work of art. I guess the only exception, like with Dr. Seuss and stuff, the only exception I have is like, I don't know, it's like with the express purpose of like educating children. If it's stuff that's like for little kids, you don't want to have a fucking slur on there, you know what I mean? Or you don't want to have like the weird like anti-Japanese shit. with like super racist cartoons or whatever. And that was, again, but it's not a battle that I would ever fight for. And it wasn't even done by anyone else. They decided to do it. You know what I mean? They decided to do that. Just keep the circulation for the older books, for an older population, or for those who want to fucking, give their kids that book if they want to, and then do a fucking explicit, like, radio version of it. You know what I mean? Like albums back in the day, which I used to despise, by the way, as a kid. So I couldn't buy it without my parents. What's your opinion on Song of the South, Splash Mountain? No, that kind of shit I understand. That's an ongoing thing. Your experience can be changed. Your experience can be modified in that regard. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like original works of art with no level of accessibility to the original work. That's what I'm fucking frustrated by. Does that make sense? Splash Mountain is something you experience right now. You know what I mean? It's something that you currently experience. There's a difference. It's a new thing that they built anyway. Bro, is Hasan related to Danny Mullen's homie Leo? Someone please answer this for me. Who the fuck is Danny Mullen and who the fuck is Leo? Are you okay?
Words because it's no longer fitting in today's society. It's stupid. Just make a disclaimer at the beginning like, hey, this book was like written 100 fucking years ago. There are some words in here that are no longer okay words. We recognize that, but we're not going to get rid of them. This is how it was written, thus this is how we're going to deliver it. Instead of just fucking revising it. I think that is an absolutely awful thing that is now becoming extremely commonplace. And I wanted to just rant about that a little bit and just, I don't know, it's just been grinding my gears because every couple of weeks now there's a new author that's the target of this like revision and revising, rewriting of their work because it's no longer modern sensitivity conscious. So just wanted to talk about that. This whole subject is just so fucking ridiculous. We are actually not learning from anything throughout history. It's pretty baffling stuff. That's really about it. So yeah.
This is Danny Mullen and Leo. Yeah, I have no idea what this is, man. I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 with you. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I don't know what's going on here. But what I do know is that there is a new Menace Off episode. That's right. We're back at the Menace Off between Nick